I'm going to give you Rockefeller's methodology for doing business. We're breaking rules here, G.
Hey, but wasn't that trust like worth almost hundreds of thousands?
It's too much, isn't it? What if I told you the government has shoved you in the matrix and is taking an enormous amount of money out of your paycheck by taxing you too much, getting you stuck in the Egyptian slavery system, giving you just fluff and straw and hay to build more and more bricks and move the machine and the war engine of the current state? And what if I told you there is a way out for you to decrease your tax burden, function in the fullness of God's kingdom, serve Him more fully, multiply your cash? You can do that through a 5081c faith-based trust, just like Rockefeller. And if you'll give me a few minutes, I'll teach you how to do it. I'm going to pull back the curtain and tell you how Rockefeller pays no taxes, Trump pays no taxes, how these people don't get sued. They don't follow the rules. And I'm going to teach you to be a rule breaker. Rockefeller, oh my, what a study on how the Rockefellers do life and business. Here's a couple of things I'm going to give you. If you're an entrepreneur, you most likely have been using an LLC. Maybe you have multiple LLCs. It's okay. Just know that you're running a government franchise. I have LLCs too, so I'm with you. But when you get that tax bill, if you notice at the top, it says franchise tax. You are functioning and running one of the government businesses, as it were. And you're paying taxes. You're paying corporation tax. Then when you pay yourself out of your LLC, you got to pay income tax. You're creating all these taxable events. Not Rockefeller. No, not Trumpy. Not Trumpy. They're not doing it that way. They are minimizing their taxable events. So it's not tax evasion. Note, not tax evasion. But it is avoiding taxes in a lawful way, according to the IRS rules. So what's going on here? Why would you do this? And more to the point, how would you do this? You got to break the rules of convention. If you look at the life of Jesus, he's being accused of all kinds of rules he's breaking. He's healing on the Sabbath. No, Jesus, we don't do that around here. And you just, over and over again, you see him breaking these rules. Well, he's a law keeper, but he's a rule breaker. And in the kingdom of God, you've got to follow the laws of God. You've got to follow the rule of God. But in society, you can't follow all of society's rules. I don't mean morally break society's rules, because then you'd be breaking God's law. You're not going to go murder someone. That would not please God. That would be immoral by God's law. So you wouldn't break society's rules in that respect. But there are rules you really need to break. So here's what Rockefeller does. In his structures, he uses a trust. And you as a believer can use what is called a 5081ca faith-based trust. What that means is this. An LLC functions in the public realm. And so you're making contracts of a public nature, and like I said, you're creating taxable events. You can run your business or ministry, either one, with a faith-based organizational structure. I'm not saying it's necessarily starting a church, though you might start a church with a 508, but it is a faith-based structure. And you are then operating in the private realm. And according to IRS law, you can go on irs.gov and search in their search box 508. According to their stipulations, there are no reporting requirements and there are no taxable events created by receiving monies from your customers into a 5081ca. There, I just pulled back the curtain. You're welcome. That probably costs thousands and thousands of dollars. But you can do that, and you can get a simple document that is how the 508 runs. Inside the document, the stipulations are you creating your own rules. You're breaking the rules of society, and you're writing down exactly how this trust operates. You can make it an irrevocable trust. And the Constitution of the United States upholds your lawful ability to create a document, get it notarized, keep a copy, keep the minutes of the meeting, that's notes, and upholds the law that states that what is written in that trust is as though it is the law of that trust. And therefore, you can put vehicles in the trust, and you no longer own the vehicles, but you control them. You can put property, houses in there, businesses in there, and you no longer own them, but you control them. What are the implications then of you not owning these things? Well, if you get sued, someone takes you to court and the judge rules that that person that tripped over a pencil outside the front of your business, it's all your fault and you owe them $1 million. That judge can rule, let me see your assets. Well, that car you drive around, that belongs to the trust. That's not yours. That house you live in, that doesn't belong to you, it belongs to the trust. But you're the trustee and you control all of those things. But you're not liable for losing, you're not at risk for losing any of those things because you don't own them any longer. So there's a liability factor where your liability goes down to practically zero unless you did something really bad like a homicide. But all else being equal, you can't actually, it's almost impossible to sue a trust. People can't take your goods away from you and your assets because they're in the trust, they're not yours. And then your 508 1CA trust has no reporting requirements, so you don't have to file your taxes with yours. It has zero tax burden, so you're not owing taxes on it. And so that trust can pay for all of your things, your groceries, if it's in line with the trust, your vehicle fuel, since the vehicle is used by the trust, the rent on your house or the mortgage, since that's in line with the trust document that you put together. So now the trust is paying for your life, and you don't have to pay yourself out of that trust or out of an LLC or out of any organization for that matter, because those things are all taken care of. It's phenomenal. That's how Rockefeller lives. That's the amazing thing about a trust. In the day that the prophet Samuel warned God's people, if you won't take personal responsibility to follow the Lord your God, if you won't take personal responsibility to be entrepreneurial, to multiply the land, to occupy the land, and you yourself know God's law, and you ask for a king to be over you, King Saul, you're going to be so sleepy, so lethargic, you're going to be so lazy that you want someone else to tell you what to do, someone else to make up your rules. If you're going to ask for King Saul, Prophet Samuel warned them, he is going to take a whole tenth of your income. Shock, horror, tragedy. Only in the modern day, it's not actually that much. But in that day, it was like absolutely atrocious, because every government requires some sort of levy, some kind of tax, some sort of charge to make things happen in a nation. And really the role of the state and the authority, according to Romans 13, is small government to protect the innocent, the righteous, and to punish the wicked. But the government there in his day, the prophet said he's going to take a whole tenth, a whole tax, instead of every able-bodied male 20 years and older paying I think a half shekel. I forgot the exact phrase, but I think it was like a half shekel, which was very, very achievable by every household. It was the same common amount from every able-bodied male. But if you ask for that king, that unrighteous king, he'll make up the rules. He'll draw you away from God. He'll take a big giant tax from you. And he will make your sons to run his chariots into his wars. He will have your daughters as his bakers and perfumers. He'll dismantle the family unit. He'll take your economic power and your virtue. The matrix has always been around. It's always been around. So when you see Jesus coming on the scene, he interrupted the fabric of society, the rules of the religious hypocrites, the rules of the kings of the day, and he declared of himself, there's only one king. You speak of me as the king, you're right, he said. He's the king of the universe, King Jesus. And what was interrupted was the people's allegiance to Caesar, their ungodly associations. This is what's going on in your life. There is a dismantling as the kingdom of God invades your life of your associations and your allegiances to ungodliness and to wickedness. And it is incumbent upon you, it is a responsibility upon you to be a free person. I don't mean tax evasion, and I don't mean don't play the monopoly game, because remember, Joseph was in Pharaoh's house, the right man on the inside. And your ministry in your life is an incarnational ministry operating sometimes within the walls of Babylon, sometimes right there at the very gates of Hades. So you've got to be careful. You need the wisdom of God. That's why you've got to be gentle as doves, shrewd as serpents. But I'm letting you know it is your business, your responsibility to lower your tax burden according to the means, the righteous means that are available. And I just let you know how Rockefeller can do that, and you can do that today as well. You can actually request an EIN for free from the irs.gov. You can create a 5081CA from a template. Some are even available online, or you can join the Goshen community. You can sign up for one of our courses and get one of our numerous 508 templates. You can go to a bank and say, I'm opening a trust. And a bunch of these banks, Chase, Bank of America, even if some of them get a bit confused, they don't know what you're doing, just go next door, go to another bank, they'll open it for you, and you will be able to function with a stewardship of the kingdom. Can you imagine if you just make another $10,000 available for your investment in your wisdom, for your investment in the church, for you to multiply that? You could have bought XRP. It went up 345% in the last 3 months. Little tip for you for the crypto people out there. So pursue the kingdom with all means available. Decrease your tax burden like Rockefeller and start a 508(c)(1) trust. There's about 100 different things you could do today and radically increase your profitability. So please like and subscribe. Follow our channel for more conspiracy crazy things, but not so crazy if you've got ears to hear.